Hey guys, how you doing? This is just a quick video that's talking about player preferred moves. To give you an idea what your player preferred moves are, if you go to your player and then go to positions, it'll actually tell you what his preferred moves are. Now there's actually a couple of ways that a player can learn their preferred moves. Those ways are pretty much either through mentoring, which I talked about in the training video. If they get on very well, there's a chance that some or all of his preferred moves will get transferred over to the person he's tutoring, or you can actually go in through interaction and choose start player preferred move training. Now the thing to take into account is if you do decide to go through the player move training, it will take up 20% of their training workload, which means that that is going to come off what their scheduled training is. So in this case, it would take them from 80% to 60%. It also means that this guy is not able to tutor anybody until he has finished his preferred move training, because he's actually doing his own individual training. Sometimes it is worthwhile doing it if you don't really have anyone here that can do the training. But the way I like to do it is get a generation of players come through who have the moves that I need them to have, and then get youngsters that look like they can fill the role later down the line, and then hope that they can transfer it over through tutoring. This guy, for example, is my attacking playmaker in the middle of the pitch. He has personal instructions to move into the channels. That complements his gets forward whenever possible. Because he's my playmaker, he's dictating the tempo of the game, so he can slow it down, speed it up as he needs to. He tries killer balls often, and likes to switch the ball to the other flank, so it means that he can distribute the ball to my attacking midfielders up front if they need to. Another example of player preferred moves that I quite like is with strikers. This guy, for example, has runs with the ball through the center, so you basically want him going through the middle of the pitch. I've sometimes seen strikers with runs with the ball down the right or left. That's normally if they can be a striker as well as an attacking midfielder. It's not really something I like, because it's very difficult to untrain it, and it will override their player instructions in tactics. Place his shot is the big one I find, because what it means is he's basically aiming for the corners of the net here, down low, which makes it more difficult for the goalie to drop down and try and save the ball. I would say once he's gotten this, about 85 to 90% of his goals were in the corner of the net. And you can see he's actually started turning into a very prolific scorer. Likes to beat the offside trap. Well, he does have very good acceleration and pace, decent off the ball, but that can improve. Good determination, good first touch, dribbling. So and his decisions are okay, but they need a bit of improving on. His anticipation could do with some improving on, and that would make him even deadlier. Runs with the ball often. Once again, that complements his dribbling. Now there are a few. There's at least one player preferred move I can think of that can only be gotten through tutoring, and that's curls the ball, which basically means that when he hits the ball, it will curl. I found it very difficult finding people with that trait to even try and transfer it over. But it's something to keep an eye out. So if you do see it, the only way that another player can get it is through tutoring. Another thing to consider maybe for your defenders is play short, simple passes. If your defender doesn't have great passing, you don't want him to try anything too fancy. You just want him to pass the ball on to maybe your left back or maybe your defensive midfielder or your center midfielder. Does not dive into tackles. That's good if he doesn't have a good decision making or anticipation or tackling. It just means that he'll try and stand up and muscle the guy off the ball, and it means that he won't sort of miss out on the tackle and then make the rest of his team kind of be exposed. There are a few other options you can go for. I'm actually a fan of trying to get my wingers here to play shots. There's an interesting article by S. Fraser on the board, where he talks about because your wingers are coming in at an angle, they have a much shorter or much tighter angle to try and score the goals. So placing the shots is a much better option than shooting with power, for example. Shooting with power is a nice option for your strikers, but you have to remember it will drop their accuracy of their finishing. But if you ever see the message saying no keeper in the world would save it, probably the guy has shoots with power. There is a decent amount of combinations out there that you can go for. So shoots with power, shoots from distance, and curls balls is a nice combination. Hit free kicks with power, or tries long range free kicks as well as curling the ball. It's a nice combination, so you sort of get that Beckham-esque type curl on the ball, or Cristiano Ronaldo type curl on it. Hugs the line and runs with the ball down either the left or right is good for your wingers if you want them to stay on the wings. Cutting inside is good if you have maybe wingers that you want to instead go to the corners and try and cross the ball in. If you want to kind of run at the defenders, but obviously you need to have good dribbling and ball control. Marks opponent tightly and dives into tackles is good if they have decent marking and tackling skills. So there are quite a few options out there. You'll probably find that although you think a player might be good at it, if you go and try and train someone with the preferred move, your assistant or your coach that you're asking to do it will just say, no, I don't think he can do it, and will come up with a suggestion. And you can then decide if you want to do that skill or not. Hopefully you found this useful. It is something that adds a lot to the game. Like I said, I noticed a big difference, especially with my strikers, with placing the shots, and it's something I'm considering doing for most of my strikers, unless they've got good long shot skills or good finishing skills. For example, on this team here, the only person I might consider doing shoots with power is this guy. He has okay finishing, but I've seen a lot of his shots be long shots. He's got very good technique, so he strikes the ball cleanly. So that's the only guy I'd consider maybe with shoots with power. But still, there are quite a few combinations out there, and I know if you just Google FM2012 player preferred moves, they list all the different ones that they have, as well as good combinations in that as well. I can put a link to that in the description for this. I hope you guys found this useful. If you have any questions, by all means, leave comments below, and I'll catch you later.